Part of our show being brought to you today by our friends at Nichols Outfitters. Brownie will tell us about Nichols after we talk to our buddy Stephen Pearl, fresh off a plane back from College Station last night, Brownie.
And he's with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I know, tough loss, Coach. We appreciate the time, though, this morning. Hope you're doing all right.
Always for you guys. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks a lot. Shooting from outside has been a little bit of a struggle at times this year. You shot much better from outside last night, but still couldn't get the – I mean, it's just – I know losing no matter what happens is frustrating, but when you get that piece right and still lose, that kind of had to add to it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you look at our last, 4 games since the second half of West Virginia. Like, I think we're playing pretty good basketball, which I don't know if fans will want to hear that since we're 1-3 in our last 4. But second half West Virginia, I thought we played really well. Battled back from down 16. Blew out Georgia at home and had probably, I think, our best offensive efficiency rating in like 20-something years. So played great offensively. Go to number 2 Tennessee and hold them to 46 points and just can't buy a basket. Had opportunities to win that game. Tough ending for that one. And then obviously to go to A&M, thought we played pretty well again last night offensively. Just had a few things we couldn't overcome in that game. But we're playing pretty well. Just we got to do a better job of limiting our mistakes late in games, doing a better job of getting stops, have to guard without fouling. And I think we can, close down on some of these big opportunities that we've missed out on.
Yeah, free throws were obviously a story, but and we talked about this, Broome getting in foul trouble and then Julius Marble going off in the second half. That seemed like a huge turning point.
Yeah, I think it's difficult when, you get 3 or 4 of your guys with 3 fouls early in the second half. It changes how we guard. We like to be really aggressive. We like to get after you, ball pressure, try and create some offense from our defense. And, when you get 3 or 4 fouls, you just don't do that as much. And I think Janai was a victim of that last night. He just wasn't guarding the way he normally guards. He sat behind the post. He let, he let Marble drive it right and kind of got to his body. And, they jumped through contact and, got rewarded with free throws or they got, second chance points. So, it's happened to us a few times this year in road games where we've gotten in foul trouble and we weren't able to guard the same way that we're used to guarding throughout the game. But, we still had to make plays. We still need to step up and get some stops late to try and win that game.
9 threes from you guys. When you hit the outside shot, how does that free up Janai down low? It seems like that opens things up for him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not going to sit, 3 or 4 guys in the paint when we're making outside shots. And, the percentages are very deceiving because I feel like we do have some pretty good 3-point shooters, and I think we're capable, and I think we'll start to heat up here down the stretch. But it definitely helps your inside game, when shots are falling. It also allows, our perimeter guys to drive the paint and obviously get paint touches to get more shots around the rim, but then even inside out opportunities. So it spreads the floor a lot more and obviously makes it a little harder for us to be guarded when we are knocking shots down.
My lack of IQ when it comes to X's and O's. What did you do to Tyrese Radford last night that worked so good because you took him basically out of the game offensively?
Yeah, I think the first game, we had a similar game plan. We just didn't execute it as well. Obviously we wanted to sit on that left hand, send him to his right. And we had our big up the line to impact a little bit more. But then the 2 guards that were guarding the other guards, we had them pinch the floor. So it basically shrank the floor a little bit. So setting him to his right hand, impacting a little more to try and get the ball out of his hands, but then also not allowing him to see as much, wood on the floor for him to drive. So we did a good job of corralling him and a good job of kind of eating up his space, not allowing him to get downhill. But at the end of the day, they shoot 39 free throws. We got to do a better job of guarding without fouling, and we need to do a better job of obviously taking it to contact to get fouled. 25 free throw disparity. It's really hard to win on the road. It's even harder when you aren't able to get to the line as much as your opponent. So the kids did a really good job on Radford, but obviously Marble and some of the other guys really stepped up and made plays for him.
Auburn assistant Stephen Pearl with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Of course, Auburn and Alabama play Saturday 1:00 at Neville Arena. Game day is going to be there, Coach, and I'm curious, like, how big is that when you're out on the road recruiting to be on game day like that? And I mean, that highlights the best programs in America. And to say, hey, for the last 3 years, they didn't do a COVID year, but the last 3 years they were on the road, they came to our arena. Does that resonate at all in recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, it really does. Yeah, I think they said the only two schools to ever have game day show up 3 straight years are Duke and Auburn.
Yeah.
So that's impressive company to be in. It says a lot about, obviously the home court advantage that we've built at Neville Arena, the success that we've had over the last 6 years, and obviously, basketball in the state of Alabama has risen to a level that, obviously College Game Day wants to be a part of that. You look at the last, I think, 5 years, you look at the SEC championships that have been won in this league, Alabama and Auburn, own a bunch of them. And that says a lot about how far both programs have come in basketball. But no, in recruiting, it's huge because, obviously that's the show that everyone watches on Saturday mornings. And for Auburn to be a part of that 3 straight years says a lot about what we've built and how far we've come.
Hey, since that right shoulder injury, Chris Moore hasn't played more than 20 minutes in a month. It's been 6 games. How close to 100% is he?
He's at 100%, I think, right now. It's just, it's difficult because, when he was out, we really kind of found something offensively, having Lior back up playing the 3. He kind of came back and we needed him in a pinch to play at some 4 to get a little more experience out there on the floor. I don't think, if we had changed the lineup back to what it was, the results or the outcomes would have been any different. Because when Lior's been on the floor, he's had a positive plus minus when he's been out there. So I think he's done a really good job for us. But it's really tough when you get injured in the middle of the season, when you have some rhythm going, especially a shoulder injury for such a physical player, to try and come back and then play a new position. So, he's doing a good job with it so far, but it's just going to take a little more time to get adjusted to the position for him to kind of feel like he, is back to normal.
2 questions about coaching for you. One, you lose by 3 at Tennessee, you lose by 5 at A&M. That's Saturday, Tuesday, both on the road. And you're home on Saturday, a little extra day here. Do you rest a little bit? Do you try to get mentally and physically your team a little rest today and tomorrow?
So usually how it works is, if you have a Tuesday weekday game, you always take Wednesday off. You always have to, the kids always have to take a day off a week. So, the coaches are in here working on the scouting report for Alabama in the next couple of games. But if we had a Saturday, Wednesday game, you would take Sunday off. So kids will take today off. They'll come in on their own, get shots, get a lift in. But no practice. They'll be away from us for the day, which I'm sure they'll enjoy. And then we'll be back at it on Thursday, getting ready for Alabama.
And that was the other question, because you're still learning the coaching things as you ascend up the ladder. Your dad's been doing this a long time. You've got a very diverse coaching staff there. When you lose a game like that last night, I can tell by your body language. We've done enough interviews that you're not in a great mood today. How do you attack that when you're around your team? Do you try to stay positive? Do you grind on them a little bit in the next practice? How do you handle that? Are you positive or are you hard on them, or do you mix it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on how and I'm in a great mood right now. I just always talk like this. So
that is not true. I can tell you're not in a great mood, and you can't tell me why you're not in a great mood, because you get fined by the SEC.
Yeah,
I understand.
exactly.
I understand.
Yeah, you said it. So, but no, it's the first thing I said was I really think we're playing well. So at the end of the day, like there's some positive to that. So you gotta with your team, our philosophy has always been, when we're playing well, we're hard on them, right? When we're in a little bit of a tough time, you got to kind of build them up a little bit. But we're playing well enough right now to where I think we got to show them, the positive things that we're doing to build confidence around that, but then also understand that there are areas that we can improve in late game execution offensively and defensively that we have to, tighten up on so we can win games like, Alabama, and some of the games coming up on our stretch, because if we don't play our best game, we can't beat Alabama. They're one of the best teams in the country. So we got to learn from the mistakes that we made in our last 4 games and try and get better. But, it's really based on, how the team's doing at the time. But, right now, got to continue to try and build these guys up, show them the things that we're doing well, and try and tighten up on some of the things that we aren't doing so well.
Stephen, when I'm in a dark place, I think about my Viszla Ladybird. So
I knew it was coming. Yeah,
I'm going to bring up Nelly. First of all, people think it's weird that Ladybird sleeps in our bed. I would assume Nelly probably sleeps with you guys. And what is Nelly's favorite people food?
People food.
Man, Well, you'd have to ask her mom because her dad doesn't give her any people food. But
wow. I bet she loves mom a lot better than you then.
Discipline.
no doubt, no doubt. She definitely does sleep in bed. Does Lady Bird get under the covers with you guys?
Yeah. She'll go back and forth. But typically she ends up. When I left the house today, she was still under the covers.
Yeah, Nellie will. She moves a lot too, and then she's not afraid to step on my head as she's moving back and forth from under the covers to on top. But she's in there. Her favorite people food. She probably likes. I mean, I know you said they said you give Lady Bird like Wagyu, right?
Yeah, well, that was a special night. Now she did have a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but when the Rams won the Super Bowl, I promised her a good piece of Wagyu. But she does. She had steak Saturday night, but it wasn't Wagyu.
Okay. Yeah, I would say steak and chicken are probably Nellie's two favorite things. And even though we get home at midnight last night, and obviously not in a great mood, she's running out there, as all Viszlas do, going crazy when they see you. So puts a little smile on your face when you get home after a tough loss. But no, she's great.
Have you guys ever thought about getting a second one?
Oh yeah, talk about it all the time. But Brittany's like, let's have a kid first, and then we can talk about a second dog.
Oh, more pressure, needing to get a good road win down the stretch, or the new wife telling you let's have a kid first.
There's a lot of pressures in the Pearl household right now. So just try to tackle them one at a time.
See, we made you smile, man. That's why you. Clicked the link. That's why you clicked the link and joined us on this show.
Yeah, how about how smooth that worked today? No shot at us today, right, for the Zoom link?
No, it worked. It worked. Good job.
All right.
Asking for a friend, would you pinch the guards to defend Brandon Miller like you did Tyrese? I'm kidding. Don't answer that.
Stephen Pearl, Auburn and Alabama, Neville Arena, 1 o'clock ESPN on Saturday. Game Day will be there as well. Coach, we always appreciate the time. Thank you for coming on with us today.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, take care. That is Stephen Pearl with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.